What's up, everybody? It's your favorite coach's favorite coach. And in today's video, we're going to look at the actual interview that Tristan Thompson had recently at Media Day, where he basically said that the Cavaliers were the team to beat in the East simply because they were the four-time defending Eastern Conference champions. A lot has been made of this. As you saw in our last video, Steven Jackson and his crew are basically ripping on him for what he said, but that's irrelevant. Whether or not Tristan Thompson actually believes in what he's saying is going to be the focus on this video. We're going to analyze his body language and vocal tonality to see whether or not he's just bullshitting us. And this is going to help us determine the state of the Cavs' psyche this year and whether or not they have a chance to win. They have to believe they can compete. And if they can, it's going to be a really interesting season for them because now we can finally determine whether or not the Lebron James system is real or a myth. LeBron James' absence this year now makes him the extraneous variable in this equation. And yes, I can't read Tristan Thompson's mind, so ultimately this is going to be a lot of speculation and excessively reading into this interview. However, there's a lot of obvious tells that I can see right off the bat that the media is just not covering. So pay close attention to his body language when he's just sort of answering the general questions that he gets, and contrast that to the noticeable shift it has when he's asked questions surrounding LeBron James.
Regular season, yeah, I know. You like to play? Yeah, I like to play switching everything, switch 1 through 4, 5, maybe the drop with the blitz. I think that's why our defense is top 5, always going to play up.
One thing that playing in the LeBron James system was definitely lacking was having 5 people playing man-to-man defense. LeBron James would sort of zone and play defense like a rover. And while this got better in the playoffs, they might not be losing as much as the media thinks in that category.
Guys want to, come out and such a defensive end and be a team that's top 10, in team defense. It's definitely.
Notice he's relaxed, he's joking around, and the cadence of which he's speaking is a lot slower and more natural feeling.
Top 10 defense thing. You think you have a long way to go to beat that, or you think?
Of course, it'll be baby steps. Obviously, you can't just wake up in the morning and be like, we're top 10 in the league in defense. It's going to be step by step. I think these preseason games are going to be huge for us, especially playing against Boston, a team that is one of the top teams in the East. We can see how our defense pans out and see what adjustments we need to make.
This segment right here is very telling of what Tristan Thompson and the Cavs, what their expectations are for this season. He's talking about baby steps. He's talking about tangible, achievable goals. And while he's explaining this, he looks comfortable and reasonable, like he actually believes this is something that they're going to be able to achieve. We'll contrast that to the later part of this video.
Steps. Sooner the better is always what we like to hear and what we want. But you just gotta trust our coach and watch a lot of film. Is there enough winning plus the rivalry here still to carry you? Everybody is probably a secret media day. Life without LeBron. You say enough? Is there enough winning muscle memory? Yeah, right there. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. Me, Kev, JR. Kev, JR, Kyle, we was up there for a lot of those banners. Channing, there's a lot of winning muscle memory here. George Hills had a lot of winning basketball in his career with Indiana with us last year. So with the guys that we have about 7, 8 guys that have been past the first round of playoffs. So that's enough winning muscle memory you need. You know what the assumption is? Probably shouldn't use the word assumption, but I'll use the assumption is.
He definitely sounds a little defensive here. He's making sure everyone realizes the fact that they have made deep runs in the playoffs before, disregarding the fact that LeBron was on those teams too. He's dodging that the best he can. But this next question he gets forces his hand. No, of course. And this is the question right here that's going to be very telling, where they're directly questioning how the team's going to do without LeBron James. So let's take a look at how Tristan responds.
Was a huge part, the franchise player cornerstone of our team. And he, we've had a lot of success together, a lot of memories, won a championship here, which we give a lot of the credit, ton of the credit. But he's prepped myself, JR, Kev. He's prepped us for this moment. So when it's time for,
As far as his body language goes, look at how he tenses up and how he's nodding his head almost to overcompensate, to sort of physically agree with himself, even if he subconsciously has some doubt in what he's saying. He also looks away right away. A lot of you NLP guys are going to point to the direction at which he's looking to determine whether or not he's lying. However, this is largely based on whether or not somebody's right or left-handed. And as we all know, Tristan Thompson is infamously ambidextrous. Either way, looking away indicates recall. Again, he knew that he was going to be asked this question, and he was most likely coached or heavily rehearsed this response. If a response is rehearsed, it's going to have a faster cadence and less variance in tonality. However, the certain points that he does want to get across will be overly emphasized and exaggerated to overcompensate. When something is rehearsed and planned, you tend to rush through it because you want to get it out before you forget anything or make a mistake. And in doing this, there's a noticeable disconnect between the lines that you're saying and the meaning behind it. He has to give a diplomatic response. He can't just say, oh, we're going to suck without LeBron, or, oh, we're going to be unbelievable without LeBron. Those aren't two answers that he's going to be able to genuinely stand by. Contrast this to his body language and tonality when he's just responding to a general question.
pretty garbage because we don't kind of show our hand into the playoffs. But this year, I think I want to change that. I think guys want to come out and start the defensive end and be a team that's top 10, team defense.
Now let's take a look at this clip, which will show his canned, rehearsed response.
But he's prepped myself, JR, Kev. He's prepped us for this moment.
There's a lot less eye contact, there's a lot less gesticulation, and obviously he's carrying a lot more tension.
For guys that part ways, that we were prepared and we were mentally ready for that challenge. And I think he did a good job teaching us the qualities of what it takes to be a pro, what it takes to be a champion. And now we got to pass that along to the young guys to keep that culture going.
Give me a friend of lava.
Oh, David? Strong guard. He's another guy. He's another guy who can guard.
As soon as he's asked a different question about a different topic, he becomes a lot more relaxed, and he's visibly showing a sense of relief, as if he was carrying a lot of tension.
Oh, David? Strong guard. Oh, David? Strong guard.
And that's because he had to uphold an act. So he was quick to jump on the new topic and change the subject.
Even though LeBron's gone, we still got a very talented ball club, and we still see ourselves as a playoff team. At the end of the day, like the team said, we're still 4-time Eastern Conference champions. So until you take us down from that, teams ain't got much to say. Boston, Philly, they got much to say. Boston had home court game 7, lost. Philly, you guys almost got swept. Toronto, we already know that story. So until someone takes us down, there's not much they can really say. Not to me.
So here it is, the part of the interview that everyone's clowning him for. He's flinching a lot, he's saying a lot, but this is clearly a canned response. He's saying all the right things, he's being diplomatic, but again, it's not what he's saying, it's what he didn't say. He did not make any tangible, boastful claims about this year's roster, and that's something that I would have definitely liked to see. If I was his teammate, that's what I would like to see. When he's talking about being the 4-time Eastern Conference champs, this is completely irrelevant to this season's team. So why is this interview with Tristan Thompson so important as it pertains to the collective psychology of the organization? Other than saying that his team would take baby steps to be top 10 in team defense, he did not make any tangible goals for this season. He instead makes a completely nonsensical case for why his team should be the team to beat this year, based on last year. And if he truly believed that, he could stand by it or at least provide some tangible evidence. For example, I would have liked to hear him say, now that LeBron's gone, it opens up more opportunity for some of the great players on our team to excel. Or, now we can actually run a real system. Or, maybe our defense will actually get better. Yes, LeBron is gone. Yes, he's the best player on the planet. However, we can be a great team still. The fact that this is clearly rehearsed just makes him seem really insecure on the whole situation. And that's alarming and disappointing, because if I were in that situation, and I'm not an elite NBA player, but I understand winning psychology, If I were in that situation, I would have a chip on my shoulder to prove the media and everybody else wrong. And so what does this tell us? I don't know. So far in preseason, Kevin Love looks inspired. He looks thin. He's playing his style of ball. Rodney Hood looks like he's beginning to understand his responsibilities and where he fits in. Cedi Osman looks like an exciting young prospect. However, the rest of the team's state of mind is still to be determined. How much do they buy into the narrative that they're a bad roster who LeBron James carried for the last 4 years? All I know is this interview certainly didn't do them any favors in proving the media wrong.